Yeah, just be your fabulous self.
Oh my God, you're so cute. Oh my God,
I
you're
love
so
you.
cute. I
I'm
love you
so
too. I hope
excited
I
about
don't
this.
disappoint you. Okay.
Be the Good is all about people doing good in the world while following their passions. Good for their own souls and for others. I'm Kate Cherichello, and welcome to today's episode. Let's spread a little more goodness in the world.
Welcome to Be the Good. Prior episodes focused a lot on goodness in the workforce and out in the world. But what about being the good within your own family? I was thinking about that a lot. And the first person, the perfect guest who came to mind is here today. And it is my very own Aunt Lucille. And I'm so grateful that she is talking to me today from over the river in New Jersey. Thanks so much for being here, Lou.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very honored to join.
So, Lou, I'm going to ask, I usually do 5 questions. I'm going to combine the first one. So it's going to be 4 questions. You can answer them however you'd like. And just for the listeners slash watchers, Lou is my dad's little sister. My dad is the middle of 3. And so Lucille is number 3 of those 3. And Lou, my first question is, what is your story? You can answer that however you'd like, but just tell us a little bit about your background to where you are now.
Okay. Well, I hope I keep it concise because I do like to go on. But um, as you said, I'm the youngest of 3 children. I have 2 older brothers that are 8 and 10 years older than me. So in many ways, I'm the youngest, and in many ways, I'm the oldest sister. So I had a unique situation, and fortunately for me, my brothers treated me like one of them. I remember when my older brother was graduating high school senior year, and he was getting ready to go to prom. My mother took us all shopping for tuxedo because, after school hours, of course, I was with them. And I just, after going from shop to shop, after a while, I started thinking, when is she going to get around to buying my dress? Because I really was included, which was very fortunate for me. And they made me into a real special kind of pain in the butt because I was always treated like one of them. And I appreciate that really much, very much as I am older and wiser. I am the youngest, but I am 60. I turned 60 this year. I got a new hip. My life is opening up again as the world is after the pandemic. So my mother and I were very close. My father passed away when I was 18. And being the only daughter, my mother and I really were close together. And she did come to live with me, my husband and I, and my 2 small children, or 1 small child, after she sold our family home in 1997. So for 6 years, she lived here with my husband and I, and our oldest, and we were very, very close. I always knew because I had old parents that I would take care of them when they were older. And my children saw that. Perhaps they'll do the same, or perhaps they'll move to California. I don't know. But it was really a beautiful time in our lives. It was 6 years. And my son was born in that time, and he's the middle child. Our oldest is Rachel. She's 26. She's 25. Our middle child is Luke. He's 23. And our youngest is Sarah. She's 19. So they were both born while Grandma lived here. And it was really a special 6 years of our lives. A lot of things happened. And we really grew as a family, literally and figuratively, in that time period. So once my mother sold the house and really wasn't capable of making family parties and all, I kind of took that over and made that my role in my family and in my husband's family. I take part in that as well. I enjoy that. I think it's very important. I want my children to see that both sides of the family are important and interact with everybody and maintain your relationships and invest in them because they're very, very important, especially for people today when, so many of us are all over the place. And that's what was going on here. Then with the pandemic, I wasn't able to make those parties. And my hip was killing me. And it was kind of like an enlightening moment, like a light bulb moment. Like I needed to do something about my health. and I needed to get a new hip and start taking stock of the rest of my life, because like I said, I had a big birthday this year. And we are making parties. We are looking forward to the holidays again, but we have kind of reevaluated our lives. And as a family, I had the kids all here. My husband was working from home. I was working from home. It was really a unique experience, which for us, but I think everyone had that same experience of sharing a lot of family time. And that was important for us. But we didn't get to see the extended family as much as we would like to. So we're back to doing that.
Yes, I remember it around Christmas time. We met outside my apartment building here in New York. You were
Right.
in your car. I was standing outside, and we had like a 45-minute catch up because it was the only way to see each other in person safely at the time.
Right. So we've all gotten around, and we've all tried to see each other on the sneak like that, or Zoom calls, or texting. We've kept in touch, but now we're ready to party again. So hopefully that's going to happen with the holidays coming up. Back to having the family over.
Yes. Well, you really have taken so much of that family, being the ultimate matriarch of the family, so to speak, after grandma passed away. And Lucille is the one where everyone's at her house, and all the food, if you didn't figure it out, it's an Italian family. And that means amazing food and always laughing and loud voices in the best of way, right?
Laughing or screaming, whatever,
Usually a mix of both, but in the best
it's very
of ways.
lively. We'll say that it's very lively, and
Yes,
do take pleasure in that. I'm blessed to be able to do that, and given the privilege to do that, and that is something I always like to make parties since I was a little kid. But I feel like it's really my honor to do that for my family, my husband's family, our friends that we consider family. I've told my kids many times that family is not just the blood relatives, but those you who show up continuously through your life, and at this point in my life, I'm of a certain age, and I can tell you I've had a lot of sisters. I never had sisters except for my cousins, which were great sisters and still are. But I was blessed to always find beautiful people wherever I went to school or work. And I have actually many brothers and sisters,
Yeah. I know a lot of people listening will be like, yes, you do. I know that.
So yeah, and I'm newly reconnected with classmates from high school since our 40th reunion. One of the gals put us all on a group text so we could keep up with the plans for attending the reunion. And that has gone on for 2 years on a daily basis. And I'm very happy to say that we're all celebrating our 60th birthdays together this year. And next weekend, we're all convening at another friend's house in New Jersey. We were at one in Cape Cod a couple of months ago. And for me, I feel like that's a sisterhood that I wish everyone could say they have at my age or younger or any time in their lives. If everyone could have gone to a high school like I went to, they would be truly blessed. It was a great place, and it fostered some beautiful friendships. We all respect each other. We know each other since we're 14, and we haven't changed much, maybe physically, but we're still that same kid. And we all have still love and respect for each other. And it kind of chokes me up because it's really, it's beautiful that we have this after 42 years. We can say that we're still friends.
I love that. I love that tying in, right? Family by blood and family by those people that you choose as your family.
Yes. And I found beautiful people at college and even work after college that I can consider, some of them, Uncle Ross. He's not really your uncle. You know that, right? Aunt JoJo.
I call him Uncle Ross.
Aunt JoJo, Uncle Ross. My kids call, other friends other friends, uncle and aunt. So it's really a beautiful thing. I'm very blessed.
Absolutely. And that leads so perfectly into my next question, because obviously it's all about, right? Being the good in the world. And you're such a great example of that. And that story of your friendship with your high school friends is a great example, but I know you have more as well. I'd love to hear another story maybe you have of that, feeling of goodness in your family. And what that means to me is those good news moments, those proud moments, anything under that umbrella.
Oh, so many times I've been proud of my kids and my husband, and it's hard. I never really say, because I grew up being told not to brag.
Ah, well, here's your chance, Lou.
Here's
Brag
my
away.
chance to brag, and I can't even think of anything right now. But I'm very proud of them. They have a lot of integrity and hardworking, and they have a lot of talents. And I just wish that they would all get to use their talents, and in many ways, whether it's with their careers or as a hobby, just always use your creativity, their creativity. And you do that so well. You're a very creative person. And I try to use my little bit of art talent every day. So keeps your brain going. And I can't think of there's so many things. They've just
Well,
been
how
very,
about I tell a story for you then that I can think of about you?
okay.
Since while you think of one.
Okay.
So I don't know all the details, but I know that you took in grandma, right? And she lived with you until she passed away. And then skip forward a number of years, we had another great uncle. So your uncle, her brother, whose like his other brother who they lived together in Florida had passed away. So he was all by himself. So Lucille, from what I saw, didn't miss a beat and said, "You're coming to live with me. You're not going to be by yourself." So then you had 3 kids. They were all like in high school, 8th grade, right about then, right at that time, maybe younger.
He didn't live here though, but
Well, he essentially did. He was there all the time. You were over there. He was just a couple minutes away. You made sure that he had the best final, years of his life. And that was amazing too. Cause again, you will always be there to wrap your arms around someone and go out of your way to make sure that their needs are met.
I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah, that was important. And my cousins and my brothers did participate, of course, as much as I did, if not more. But it was a very, it was a very special year. We all said we wished he was here longer in New Jersey. He lived in Florida. And when his brother passed, my other uncle, my cousin Janet and I went there to meet with him and help him out. And, my other cousin Deb helped him with the move. Dad, went and got him by train because he couldn't take an airplane. And so we all kind of pitched in. And that year was a very special year in my family, I will say, because it brought us all together. And once again, people are just who they are. And I really find that fascinating. It was just all 8 of us helping him out, but it was just each and every single one of us were just the same as we were when we were kids, and he was more in our lives. Everyone, it's just that part of family and these long-term friendships really fascinate me, that when we came together to help him, it was just as if no time had passed. We were all the same. And he was very happy. I think we made him collectively very, very happy, and that we can all feel good about, because, he was the last of my mother's siblings. And that is what family does, that is what family does. And I'm glad that I can show that to my children. That's important to me. It is important to me for children to see fairness and consideration and cooperation, love, of course, and honesty. But they need to see that, and hopefully then they can live that, and that is my goal. And as a mother, I always wanted to treat people as children of God, little human beings, not just little puppets for me to orchestrate for. I never really appreciated that when people did that. I always felt like these people are small people. They're in my care, but they are God's children, and they have a right to say what they feel and do, and be. and including my husband, and that's a tough one. He's a tough one. But that is
See an
the
earshot
thing.
right now.
Well, people have a right to be who they are. They are children of God, you know. So it's one of my biggest challenges has been to transition into being a suburban mom. That was not easy for me. And looking back, a lot of my old traditions or how I grew up was not really what I encountered in my world as a mother. But I tried to instill
Being from more of an urban to suburban, you mean?
urban and Catholic
time.
school
Mm.
and raised by first generation immigrants and people who lived through the Depression, and just so many different factors were many things then were new to me. So attitudes of people and such. So, but I always felt like going back to treating children the way I would want to be treated, with some dignity and, you know, consideration that they are people, not puppets. So I've tried to instill that in my children, to be straight up, honest, decent, you know, and have some integrity.
Fantastic, Lou. I have one more question for you. And you can give me as many examples as you'd like. Do you have anything that you find yourself saying over and over again to your family or to others? Good quotes or sayings?
Well, here's one that, and it comes from being a mom in a different setting. I have always said to my kids, if we don't help each other here, we're doomed. If someone calls upon you to do a favor, you have to try to fit that in, because it was probably hard for them to ask. And you need to try to perform, do it, you know, try to fulfill it. So I have done that. I've lived by that. I think my kids do that. My husband does it. If we don't help each other while we're here, we're doomed. And I don't know what that means. It doesn't mean, I don't know if it means for the afterlife or just the fact that we would be here without much assistance, but we need to help each other. We need to be kind to each other. And that is a very important thing. And that's really what family is, I think. Whether you're born with them, lived with them, went to college with them, know each other since first year of high school, you know, whatever the scenario, family is created. And these sisters from East Orange Catholic, that we call each other sister, it's just amazing to me. I have sisters from college, and they're truly my sisters, you know. So my children, 2 sisters and a brother, I hope that they always have that with, you know, with their friends as well, you know, because if we don't help each other here, we're doomed. I mean, I just think that really is like something you could put on my gravestone, Kate, if they forget, you know. I just feel like that's a good one. That's one I have said that doesn't have any cuss words in it or negative background. That's one of the good, simple, happy ones. So, I mean, I think that you get it. You do that. What you're doing is the good, you know, is so good.
Thank you. Well, Lou, it was just so delightful to talk to you here. And I am now absolutely craving an Italian Christmas dinner. Like, I'm thinking about the antipasto. I'm thinking about, well, mostly the beginning and the end, right? The antipasto and the cookies.
I know, because the rest of it has
all the other parts.
I know, the dairy and the meat you don't care for. I understand.
Oh no, it's still delicious. But if I had to like just pick a piece of that huge meal, I'll go with those 2 sections.
Thank you. I do have a story to tell you about the Christmas dinner.
Yes,
Sarah,
please.
Grandma used to make manicotti years and years ago, all the time. And my Aunt Phil used to make it for her family for Christmas when they, you know, stopped making Christmas altogether. And my cousin Carol took over the tradition. And my mother was making it the Christmas that Sergio came over for the first time. And he said, in my region, we really don't have meals with ricotta cheese. They don't use ricotta cheese too much. So my mother took that as her out. I'm not making these anymore. They're much too labor intensive, and he doesn't even care for them. So it was a perfect out for her. So the rest of us never forgave him pretty much for that. But years ago, Luke needed to bring some to the Italian club, and he volunteered. He didn't need to. He volunteered to bring some to the Italian club meeting, and I had not made them. Had to actually call my cousin up for instructions and coaching, and I made like 2 so he could bring to the club. And he said, I want these for Christmas from now on, because he heard the story of how they were always on our menu, and until Dad messed that up for us. So we got them back on the menu, and I was never really that confident making them. And one year, I think Sarah might have been 10, 11, 12. She just said, Mom, move over. And she took over the process. So Sarah's been making the manicotti for Christmas for like 5 or more years now. And that's the story of Grandma's special Christmas main dish. The rest of it,
I never heard that part about Sergio and saying no to it. Yeah.
Yes. And Dad and Frank, and we're looking at him like, what are you doing? What do you say? What are you doing to us? So Grandma really was like, if I'm not going to make this stuff to make a man happy, what's the point? That was, like, so she stopped making them because they were very labor intensive for her, at least, and they weren't easy. But Sarah does them with ease, and that's a great thing.
And they're like artwork. I mean, she makes them from scratch. It's amazing. Yeah. So there you go. Anyone listening can call up Lucille and Sarah and get that recipe.
The recipe. Grandma would be so pleased. And that would be so terrific. Yeah, I'd be happy to share the recipe and the cookie recipes too. Maybe that could be part of this. And that's how I can really contribute, because my stories I don't think are that fascinating, but the recipes, they might be really terrific.
I love it all, because again, it's real. It's about the power of those things that we don't even think about on a daily basis sometimes, right? The just how you interact with those people that you live with. And if it doesn't start there, it's not going to go anywhere else, right? So and that's so really important.
That my kids got that. I mean, a friend of mine said when my mother died, I said, I hope my kids realize what we did taking Grandma to live here with us and how special it was. And she said, they might not remember the pattern on the wallpaper, but they'll remember there was wallpaper, and I just thought that's very interesting, but what I want, I don't necessarily expect my kids to do that because I did that. That's not the point, but just that they learn how to love, and love each other and do for people what you can, and that's how you create family. So says
so beautifully put.
I mean, that's what I think. That's what I was taught to believe, and I saw it, and I try to do it. Yeah,
Lou, that's perfect. Thank you. Thank you,
honey. This was really a delight, and I'm so excited to see the finished product.
Thanks so much for listening to Be the Good with Kate Cherichello. Whether you're listening on YouTube or via podcast, it would mean the world if you liked, subscribed, and or left a review. You heard about the good? Now go out and be the good in your life this week. If you have stories of good news that need to be shared, please send me a message. Thanks again, and have a great week.